You broke the streak, and suddenly the whole thing felt like it never counted. Here's what actually happens when the streak breaks and you walk away from it. It's not that you lose a habit, it's that you write a story about yourself. And that story is the real damage. You miss one day of journaling, and 2 weeks later, you have not opened the notebook. You skip one morning of meditation, and the month goes by before you sit again. It's not because the practice is too hard. It's because somewhere in the back of your mind, you decided that the break meant something about who you are. I blew it. I always do this. I'm back to square one. And so the practice doesn't just pause. It quietly disappears. Your chest does not tighten dramatically over this. It's more like a slow release of something you were holding, and then you notice your hands are empty. That's the cost. Not the missed day, not the meaning you built around it. I know this pattern from inside. I'm an analytical CPA by training. I have spent years trying to build systems tight enough that I could not fail them. Streaks felt safe to me, measurable, clean, something I could point to as proof that I was doing the work. And every time I broke one, I didn't just lose the streak. I lost the story I was telling myself about who I was becoming. I've written about this, taught it, and I still walked away from the dog park for 2 weeks over a 10-minute phone scroll. So I'm not here because I figured this out perfectly. I'm here because I've lived inside this loop enough times to finally see what it is. Here's the thing most people miss about streaks. A streak can run on its own. You can carry a streak while barely awake to what you're doing. You wake up, you open the app, you check the box, you move on. The habit is alive, but you might not be inside it. That's not a failure of the streak. That is just what momentum does. It carries you forward without asking you whether you are present. And that's fine for some things. But for the practices that are supposed to change you, presence is the whole point. So when the streak breaks, something else becomes available. Not failure, not evidence that you are the kind of person who always quits. It's something else entirely. It's the return. A return is not the same as a streak. A streak can be automatic. A return can't. A return requires you to stop, notice you drifted, and choose again. That choice has weight. It says, I still want this, even now, even after the gap. Ancient wisdom didn't treat the lapse as the end of the path. It treated the return as a meaningful moment. Because the return reveals intention in a way that the streak never could. Intention is what changes you, not performance. So why does a break feel so final? Why does missing one day turn into missing 2 weeks? Here's what's actually happening. When you build the streak, your sense of doing the practice starts to get attached to the unbroken chain. Not the practice itself, but the chain. So when the chain snaps, something in your body registers it as a kind of loss. Your stomach drops a little. Your shoulders tighten just slightly. And before your mind has time to think it through, you've already moved away from the thing. Not dramatically, just quietly. Let's just keep it simple today. That phrase, that exact phrase. I said it to myself for 2 weeks. It sounds reasonable, it sounds like self-care. But it was low-grade avoidance dressed up as practicality. Because a drop in my stomach when the streak broke felt like an embarrassment. And embarrassment, for a lot of us, is something we don't walk toward. We make small adjustments. We find plausible reasons to be elsewhere. We keep it simple, until someone grabs our sleeve and says, I want you to see this. That was my daughter. She was not scolding me. She was just asking me to be present. And something in me softened. That's the mechanism. The break doesn't end the practice. The story you attach to the break does. And the story lives in your body before it ever reaches your thoughts. The stomach drop, the quiet avoidance, the let's keep it simple. Those are the signals. Not evidence that you are broken, evidence that you are in the pattern, and the pattern can be interrupted. So here's something you can do right now. It's not a system, not a plan, it's just one thing. Think of the practice you have been avoiding since the break. The journaling, the meditation, the reading, the prayer, whatever it is. Don't think about how long it's been. Just notice where in your body you feel the avoidance. Is it in your chest, your stomach, your jaw? Just locate it. Don't try to fix it, just locate it. Now place your hand there. Not to push it away, just to acknowledge it. And say out loud or quietly, I still want this. 3 words. That's it. You don't have to open your journal today. You don't have to sit for 20 minutes. You just have to say what is true. I still want this. Because that is what the return actually is. It's not a grand recommitment. It's not erasing the gap. It's just a moment of honesty. And honesty is how intention gets back into the body. My daughter put her phone in a glove compartment. Not her pocket, not her jacket. Far enough away that she could not pretend she was not tempted. I did the same thing. That small, honest act, that was my return. Yours doesn't have to look like mine, it just has to be real. When you start returning instead of restarting, something shifts. Not all at once, but the practice starts to feel less like a chain you have to keep unbroken, and more like something you keep choosing. And that changes the texture of it. The journaling feels different when you know you chose to open the notebook today. The meditation feels different when it's not just the next number in a streak. The prayer feels different when it follows a gap, because the return after a break is not the same as day 47 of an unbroken chain. It's heavier, it means more. And over time, that weight becomes a kind of strength. Not the strength of perfect discipline, the strength of someone who has drifted and come back enough times to know they can. Your chest relaxes a little around the practice. The avoidance starts to loosen, because you stop making the break mean something final. I watched my wife laugh that afternoon. I watched the dogs run like they were being chased by joy itself. And I had this quiet sense that breaking the streak had not ruined anything. It had set up the return. That's what becomes available to you. Not a perfect record, a practice you keep coming back to, and a self that knows how to find its way back. Here's the question I want you to sit with today. What practice have you been calling a failure that is actually just waiting for you to return to it? If you want to go deeper with this kind of work, check the description. I keep my current offerings there, the things that actually help you work with your mind in a real, grounded way.